It's almost week 3. And we got quarterbacks down. We got 2 Monday Night Football games. What a crazy week 2. We got, roughly 53 minutes before kickoff for a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. It's me, it's your man, Johnny Main. It's my brother from another mother, Nick Wilcox. And we're here with the Fantasy Football Show tonight, special edition. Kicked off a little bit late, but you know how we do here. And we are here to give you guys some gems and some jewels. And to quote the great Franklin Saint from Snowfall, you get 3 gems. What the game shows you, what the streets hold for you, and what your future holds. And tonight, Nick Wilcox and I, we are your future. So what it do? What it does. What's up, bro?
My guy is in rare form today.
Yeah.
Loving it, yo. Loving it. You like me today. I love it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Fantastic. We already got Rob in the chat, yo. What up, Rob, yo? Tell us about your week 2, yo. Tell us about what happened, yo.
Yo, man, remind me, because I'm terrible with all this. Remind me.
Rob is...
I know who he is. I know who he is, but just remind me after this, because I had a guy that was like, he's big in the UFC, and I told him, I said, we know a guy that's big in the UFC. So, Fans Expo update. Well, my actual Expo, the fantasy... Well, my Fans Classic team is actually doing pretty good. We'll see what happens tonight, but got a chance. But Hunter Renfrow came through and hooked me up yesterday, man. So I'm big. Hunter Renfrow hooked me up on that, so I'm big happy, man. So now trying the qualifier team. I've seen better days.
Hey yo. Oh boy, yo. Oh boy. Fans Classic for me going to be 2-0 my Fans Classic qualifier, and representing, and not a Fans Expo update, but a Nick vs. John update. Week 2 winner of the first one head to head, your boy Nick by only 3 points.
Oh, there we go. Just a quick little victory lap sprint here in week 2. Meaningless preseason football in the fantasy world. Let's go.
It was one of the battles that will eventually have another one. So.
It'll be another one. Thanks to Mark Andrews and his no call, no show for work. Yeah, no call, no show. I'll play anybody else in America at tight end and we Gucci.
Probably.
No, definitely.
Hey, the tight end streets are definitely looking ugly, and that's why we're here for the waiver wire edition as well. So, people file on in. If you ain't done so, please like us on the YouTube channel. Please follow us on the Twitter if you haven't done so already. For all people who will be listening, filing on in, replaying. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. We're about to break it down for you. Waiver wire week 3. We also got the Monday Night Football matchups upcoming. Got a few props, and we'll get out to you guys as well. So without further ado, we're going to start with the quarterbacks. We're going to go right through it. It's going to be the following quarterbacks are here. There's other options on your waiver wire because some things are really weird in some other leagues versus some other ones right now. But these are the ones that are readily available for the moment. Vanilla Vic, that we call him here on this channel, Daniel Jones. He is the QB2 overall right now in fantasy football.
Go figure.
Wow. Go figure. First 2 weeks of the season, right? Did anyone have that in their bingo card?
No.
I hear crickets. Like, look, there was probably some opportunity to grab him in best ball, which I did in a few leagues, but it wasn't like I was like planting the flag that Daniel Jones was going to start, for this Colts team all year and da-da-da-da. Like, I don't really had this on the bingo card, especially after they beat Denver, yesterday, and just seeing how that goes. But the rest of the list, Aaron Rodgers, we'll talk about obviously Jake Browning, and Carson Wentz is on this list because if you ain't heard the news.
2020 all over again.
Or 2018.
2018, actually. You're not wrong. 2018. Hey,
oh Lord. JJ McCarthy dealing with an ankle sprain that he suffered, so he's going to be out anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks now from Minnesota. We'll see if he lands on the IR. Where I'm doubtful that he'll land on the IR, but that's where again, like, that's where the situation we're at right now. And then again, obviously Joe Burrow officially, if you ain't heard the news about that, which you should have, he's going to be out at least 3 months with this turf toe. He had the grade 3, which is the worst grade you could have for a turf toe injury. And it's really unfortunate because it feels like every other year Burrow is hurt. Every other year it feels like he's like hurt. One year he went to the Super Bowl, and then the next moment he was injured. You know what I'm saying? The year prior, like he was cool, like putting up gangbusters of touchdowns, and now he's hurt now with this turf toe. And that's just kind of what it is, unfortunately. And then Spencer Rattler, because he's probably more like a guy that's like a QB3 right now for your super flex leagues for people who go that deep. We're really, or unless you really had some bad luck at QBs, you got Purdy out or whatever. Maybe Tua's out for you if you want that. But again, let us know what's going on in your waiver wires. We can best serve you correctly. Rob, asking about rest of season, would you rather have Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes?
That is a real life question in America these days.
Yep,
That's a real life question. And before I answer that question, I'm going to shout out my girl, man, Alicia. Just put a message in our group chat. Just she's like working and listening to Johnny Main's podcast. So if you listening, shout out, girl. I appreciate that for sure. But in real life, Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes, like. It feels.
Well, yes, rest of season.
I mean, if we could predict the rest of the season, we would be sitting in penthouses. But I think right now, year to date, like Daniel Jones right now, man, I would say at least until week 6 for sure, man. Until Rashee Rice comes back and Xavier Worthy, maybe things get different when his pass catchers get back as far as Mahomes go. But right now, man, Daniel Jones is cooking. I watching that game yesterday against the Denver Broncos, it is very, very hard to go against Daniel Jones and what he's doing. So for me, like right now, like if you ask me who to play the rest of the season, that's where I'm going, man. Like I'm going with Daniel Jones for the rest of the season. And then next week, they play the Titans next week. So, the Titans – they're a tough team for sure, but I mean, hey, this week they just gave up 30-something points to the Rams, right? So Daniel Jones for sure. Although Patrick Mahomes has got a pretty soft spot this week against the New York Football Giants, coming off of an exhausting game, an emotional letdown against the Dallas Cowboys, which I feel like there's no way that the Kansas City Chiefs start off 0-2. So somehow, some shape, some form, some fashion. Maybe Patrick Mahomes has a better week than Daniel Jones, maybe this week. But for the rest of the remainder of the year, Daniel Jones looks like he's got a pretty good situation there, man, in Indy, bro.
Yeah, he definitely has the inside track. Colts schedule goes for the next several games: Titans, the Rams, the Raiders, the Cardinals. Get the Chargers. Those are the next 5. I just like how, again, like you said, I think until Rashee Rice comes back into the equation, like I would still rather have Daniel Jones at this moment, which is like wild to say. Because obviously the big question was like, was Daniel Jones going to have a long leash? And it looks like he is going to have a long leash for this offense. So that was something where if I knew he was going to be the starter, he'd be someone I would have been a little bit more like, a little bit more hyped to talk about. But again, that situation throughout the summer was not fluid at all. We didn't really know who was going to start, just like the Saints situation. We didn't really know who was going to start until like it was very last minute. But another way, would you drop Mahomes for Jones?
Woo! My man is bringing the heat tonight.
I'm not going there. I'm not
there yet. I'm with you.
I'm not there.
No, I'm not there.
And I usually won't, because Mahomes always carries some value in leagues depending on what size league you are in. So you're always able to potentially, if you really don't want Mahomes in your roster anymore, or you really don't buy into him bouncing back, because look, he was looking like a fullback out there against the Eagles.
Dad bod out there getting it.
Had like 60-something rushing yard or something like that, and like looking really spry. So look, I think there's always name value in Mahomes, and we said this since the beginning of this past season as well, is that Mahomes is like literally Tom Brady in the fantasy world, where Tom Brady was putting up decent numbers, but he was never like in the conversation of, he was like a top 5 quarterback over, year by year, whatever. He was always like 7 or 8. And Mahomes feels like without the Chiefs getting, deep ball action, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that when it comes to, high octane offense, it's like we can't really buy into Mahomes because he's not like a consistent running quarterback too. So
but let's be fair. But let's be fair though too. Let's be fair. Did see the Chargers. Did see the defending Super Bowl champs. So let's be fair. Let's be fair
sure.
before we completely punt all the way. But
No,
I just think
right?
let's be fair about it. For sure. But yeah, like right now, Patrick Mahomes is looking exactly like he finished last year, which was a QB2. He's winning. Well, he's not winning football games this year, but in real life, that's what he does is win games, not put up numbers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from week 6 forward, or when Xavier Worthy comes back, and then Travis Kelce already living that engaged marriage life apparently already, man. You know what I mean? Shout out Travis Kelce, aka Mr. Swift.
Getting his players hurt, his teammates hurt, and then dropping footballs. Yeah, makes sense.
All
makes
good.
a ton of sense.
All good. Who do you well, I was just gonna ask you who's the guy for you out of this list, man? Out of that list, who's the guy for you?
Out of this list, if we weren't talking about Daniel Jones, that'd be a little bit too easy, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a little bit too easy. That's where it gets intriguing. I guess I want to add Bryce Young to this list because I feel like I feel like his availability is more around this range too. So I'm adding Bryce Young to this list, and I would go with him. I think Bryce Young.
I'm going to stop you dead in your tracks and say you're getting ready to throw Bryce Young out there against that Atlanta Falcons defense next week.
Yeah, the reason why is because, look, I know Bryce Young. It's always one of those things where it's like Bryce Young's look good. He's given us a mixed bag so far when it comes to this season, obviously. The Cardinals defense is really no slouch. It's just, again, I feel like they kind of let their the gas pedal, they let their foot off the gas pedal. So I think I still would want to put him on this list because of his mobility. Like, he's still going to provide mobility numbers. He didn't show it this past week. He did it through his arm, 328 passing yards. So like, I do think that Bryce Young still has like some ceiling outcome if you were to really in a bad pinch spot. But again, if we weren't going to use him, I would say give me Russ Wilson against the Chiefs. Because Russ Wilson is going to be able to look. He did this without Andrew Thomas, his best left tackle. So I think even when he gets him back this next week, even against the Chiefs at home, I think Russ Wilson could still provide you a good stream week.
So you're ready to take it back to 2018 fully, and from what I can feel, you're ready.
We're already kind of going that direction. So
I mean, dog, like I don't know, man. Like I mean, missing a tackle, and playing against the Cowboys, which the Cowboys look more than sus defensively, and then he's getting ready to go against the 0-2 Chiefs. Man, you're ready to push all the cards. You're ready to push all the cards to the table, man. You getting ready to roll out Bryce Young against the Falcons next week, Russ against the 0-2 Chiefs. All right, I like it. I like your energy for week 3 already, man. I like it. The guy on this list for me, I mean, I'm just gonna have to stay where home is, where the heart is at. I'm gonna stay with Carson Wentz, man. That's where I'm gonna stay.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's easy money, man. I think that's either him or Jake Browning. Those are the two places that like I look at and think like, all right, like from a long-term perspective, right? 2 to 4 weeks, that's what you're gonna have to fill that space with those two guys for sure. I like that spot. I think the Vikings, I'm pretty sure they have a matchup with the Steelers at some point in time, I think in Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's week 4 or 5. But man, dude, I mean, look at all these weapons that Carson Wentz is going to have out there, man. He's going to have a lot of weapons for sure. And then Jake Browning, same deal, man. Like, you have the core nucleus of essentially, the standard for fantasy football with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown. like it's kind of hard to move away from those two guys. Aaron Rodgers has a nice matchup this week against the Patriots, so maybe he gets back on track. But if I had to put it in a vacuum, obviously we're excluding Daniel Jones from this equation because I think that's the easy layup. Right. And then if I had to pick between Wentz and Browning, I'm probably just gonna go Wentz, man. I just think like he's done it before. Kevin O'Connell's obviously going to put him in a really good situation to be successful. So I hope nobody's watching because, by the way, Justin Fields in concussion protocol as well. So in another league, I lost Brock Purdy last week, lost Justin Fields this week. So I'm literally going to have to pick a name off of this screen here.
or if Tua's out there, you'll pick him up, right?
Nope. That's a hard no, Chief. That's a hard no.
To the running backs we go. And again, any questions you guys got, drop them in the chat. Because we don't know your league in terms of waivers. We're just looking at the availability and what's out there to help you guys best. So these are the names that we've come up with. We've added a few because based on availability and also based on, who probably is going to be bidding on what this week. I guess if you were to pick a player from this list right now, who's your guy and why?
Probably Chris Rodriguez would probably be one of the guys.
Really?
I would be interested in him for sure. Just because I think for as much Bill love as there is out there, which understandably so, obviously with Eckler going down, like there's definitely going to be another running back that's going to need to fill a role. It would really be between him and Tootin. And Quinshon Judkins is, I don't know what his availability is in most of these leagues. I would probably doubt minimal to he's probably not available because again, just high level view, probably selected in most leagues unless you're in a really shallow league. So you're probably staring down the barrel of either the Chris Rodriguez of the world or the Bashal Tutins of the world. And I think either one of those guys immediately has a role for sure. So I would probably go Chris Rodriguez. Again, this is all pending if Jaden Daniels is upright. Like we got the news about him today as well, about the sprained knee. So that's a whole nother entity, right? And even with Tootin, the last 2 weeks, right? Carolina and Cincinnati, two defenses that leave a lot to be desired. So it's really hard to really say, with conviction that that's the direction to go. But I think with Chris Rodriguez, the Commanders, they were pretty high on him last year, right? And most teams have in some capacity a running back share going on. And I think there's a skill set that he brings to the table that Bill doesn't, that he doesn't bring. So I think those are the two guys that really stand out for me on this list. Because I think like a guy like Kyle Monunga can be game scripted out, right? Depending on the situation. He be scripted out. Blake Corum, that was garbage time. Cam Scatterbo wouldn't touch him. I'm not even going to go all the way there, but I wouldn't touch him with somebody else's hands. We'll just leave it at that. So
he said wouldn't touch him. Jeez.
With somebody else's hand.
Yeah, we're all kind of splitting, what I'm saying, like straws in this segment because running backs, obviously, unless I put a few, the Scatterbos and Judkins and stuff. I saw more availability on Yahoo, obviously, than there was on Sleeper and ESPN. I saw more availability on Yahoo and ESPN. So if you're playing those leagues, Sleeper, pretty much, it's a wrap. Both of these guys are probably like 70% Sleeper. But I just wanted to put that out there because I know people play on ESPN and Yahoo still and stuff like that. So we got to show them some love. But I will say that, look, Scatterbo wasn't like my favorite running back coming into the overall, NFL draft season. And I didn't know how the Giants situation was going to play out. But if he is going to be like that power back for them, I'd have a little interest if he was on waiver wires. But the guy I'm going to probably, look more into like having and trying to have more if it pans out is probably Bashan Tuin because still think in a world both of him and Travis Etienne can have some success in terms of game script moving forward. Next three matchups are a bit tough. So home to Houston, at San Francisco, and home to Kansas City. So I do think there's like playable opportunities to where like you should just stash Tuin. in hopes that he could still be worthy of somewhat of a flex in these spots, because obviously, them trading away Tate Bigsby, Quentin Allen's still in the mix too. He's probably someone that's like a deeper play as well. But I will say, I do like Tune from a profile perspective. And yeah, like I said, Tate Bigsby out of town makes some sense in terms of the rest of these options here. Like, we all know about Judkins and stuff, but he looked decent, 61 yards rushing on 10 attempts. So he did look nice, don't get me wrong. But it was like, how often are the Browns going to be able to, run the football and have a good game script like that moving forward? That's why we've always said Samson. So we'll see if that somewhat comes to fruition later on. And we'll obviously monitor that. But I would say, yeah, Bashawn Tuen is a guy on this list. I agree with you on Kyle Monungle, who would probably been like my second guy on this list. Just because Chicago is not finding success running the football like with Swift enough in the first two games, which kind of got me thinking they may try to mix him in a little bit more potentially. But again, easily could be game scripted out. Swift is also receiving back too. So, but yeah, Blake Corum, was nice to see him out there. It would be interesting to see, and I'd like to watch that situation, because if Kyron has another, a few more games like this where he's getting this, he's getting 16 carries or whatever, he's not being official with touches, we could see something different. I have no idea, but
I'm gonna quote T.O. on this one. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then by God, it's a duck. And I think that's what it's been with Kyron Williams. Is he's just been a volume hog, man. That's what it is. So
Rob's got a question regarding the rookie running backs and who would rather have the rest of the season in PPR redraft leagues. So the question really is for me is Henderson or Harvey rest of the season. Because I don't mind Scatterbo, but he's easily third on this list for me. And Judkins easily last on this list. I thought Judkins was a fine talent, but it's I don't know. The Samson, you and I have always been on the Samson, and I ain't straying off that. Because unless something drastic changes when Joe Flacco's not starting quarterback or whatever, could it get situation get more messier? Sure, but again, But give me, I would love to stuff Henderson. I think people are definitely just freaking out. I love Harvey too. So he's definitely, I think it's 1A, 1B for me. Harvey's starting to, I feel like he has opportunities where he's still getting, the football here and there. Henderson is just really, again, he is one of those guys that got steamed up, right? And, if you have him on your roster, you're not doing anything with him. You're just waiting and seeing how his role starts to grow more and more. I know Stevenson had a great game this past week. I think they both can still exist. My problem is Antonio Gibson is still getting work in his offense. That's really? Why? Go ahead.
No, it's just Scatterbo was the last guy on this list for me. Judkins would be third. I just don't believe in Cam. I just don't believe in Cam Scatterbo. I never have. I think he's a better college football player than he is an NFL player.
Sure.
No question about it. And then I tweeted this out to our guy Chuck Bass, man. Travion Henderson and R.J. Harvey.
I'm glad you brought this up. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Because listen, at the end of the day, real ballers have Travion Henderson and R.J. Harvey, and I'm a real baller, so I got them both. I got them both on a roster. Just getting ready to be staring down the barrel of an 0-2 team with Brock Purdy on IR, and Justin Fields headed to IR, and George Kittle headed to IR, and Jawan Jennings, fake playing every week. You know what I mean? So
fake play.
Yeah, but I think right, at the end of the day, I think I said, Quishon Judkins is third for me on this list, but I think at this point anyway, ahead of Travion Henderson, R.J. Harvey, it looks like he's actually going to be on the field more than those two guys at this point. So like I said, I'm not jumping on the Judkins bandwagon. I haven't been on it. I wasn't on it during the the draft process. I wasn't on it during best ball season. I wasn't on it during Scott Fishbowl season. I wasn't on it in August. I wasn't on it whenever it was time to to get a value for him, and I'm still not on it. So I think like if you have Travion Henderson and RJ Harvey, you don't have a choice but to ride it out unless you can find somebody to be able to move these guys, who will take these guys that's maybe 2-0, maybe. But like overall, like I mean, you got to ride it out with these guys now, right? And this is supposed to be a very heralded running back class. We shall see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, unless you're getting like I think if you're getting a fair value trade. To where like, hey, you want to get a piece or two or a better piece that makes more sense for you and your team. I'm not going to tell you not to try to go do that. It's just one of those things right now where it's like, it's like people are going to try to buy low on these guys. And if you have them, your team's 1-1 or 0-2, whatever, then it's like, no, just wait it out because these guys and see how your skill is going to be able to turn around your own teams because the biggest stupid thing you could probably do is you drafted Henderson like 5th round, you end up selling them for like an 8th or 9th round pick based on draft capital or whatever, and it's like then Henderson starts popping off like in a few more weeks, and then you're like, oh man, I traded them away, for something less of value. You'd be kicking yourself.
Yeah, but I think like one of the things, and like we're slowly, or not slowly, but quickly approaching it, is like, man, like, yo, where you drafted a guy, man, in 2 weeks ain't gonna mean shit. Like it ain't gonna mean shit. You know what I mean? So like, to say like, oh, it's a draft capital thing. Like it don't matter, man. Like that was the marker that we used to draft these players, and now we're in a different space now. And now it's about what they're putting, the product that they're putting on film or in the stat box. So I think we're, not even I think, but we're a week or two away from being like it doesn't matter where you drafted a guy. If you're trying to move a guy and it has validity to it, all right, cool. If it doesn't. All right, cool. But like obviously you're in a really good situation if you're 2-0 to be able to take a stab on some of these players that can provide better value for you down the road. It is what it is. I love this, man. Like one of my group chats is like blowing up, man. I got some people out here, watching, man, and I love it, bro. This is great. I love it. One guy, he's in my home league, man. I think he took Burrow and Chase. And I feel like he took another LSU wide receiver too. And he was just kind of like, you guys have fun with my money this year because the season's already over.
Dang, no hope at all.
No, up with hope, down with dope.
None at all. Damn.
None.
That's unfortunate. But okay, moving on to the receivers. We got receivers again. This would be the category where we should have a readily available players currently. That's all right. In terms of where we see fit. So names are on the board, and these are some of the names that we have displayed. I know I have some of these guys as deep sleeps on my page on Twitter. Those guys are Alec Amenor. We have, I believe I have Denami Brown on there.
Yeah, he's on there. I
may have missed him.
Nope, he's on there.
And then Hunter Renfro is definitely there. I just got to double check for Denami Brown.
No,
he was someone I was grabbing like my last receiver in best ball, and I love the value. But yeah, all these guys, in terms of the ticker you see below, I was able to pick up freaking Torrey Horton for Scott Fishbowl. I was like, how is he still on the waiver wire? I'll take him. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think we can't say Amenor because we love Amenor both. I think I'm probably more higher on him than you because I know you love Ridley. But I will say, like, as far as your guy on this list, I have a funny feeling who you're going to say. But
yeah. Well, yeah, like for sure. Ahead. Like Amenor was, like I think like you were definitely higher on him. He was still somebody that like I was taking later on. Like I have him rostered in more than a handful of leagues. But Romeo Doubs, that's the guy, man. Like that's the guy.
I knew it.
Been saying it for all off season, man. Like 20% target share career wise. Obviously, the Jaden Reed injury now really opens things up for him from that perspective of things. So like right now, like he's ran just as many routes as Tucker Kraft, who looks like he's going to be the steal of the draft at tight end for sure, averaging almost 20 yards a catch is Romeo Doubs. So like again, like if he is still out there, man, like you have to go get him. Like that has to be a priority for you. His running mate Dontavian Wicks last offseason put on a show last season for sure. And he's actually currently second in the Green Bay Packers. As Tucker Kraft and Romeo Doubs are tied for routes ran at 41. So yeah, and like Dontavian Wicks has 8 targets so far on the season, so that's third. 75% catch rate. So like there's a couple of Green Bay Packers pass catchers that you can absolutely get a hold of, and they can bring you value to your team. And I did say this, and I'm still standing on this. Like, and I don't care. I'm still standing on this today. In week 2, Dak Prescott had to get to where he got for week 2 with overtime. I still will take Jordan Love over Dak Prescott, and these guys are a lot cheaper. Obviously, the draft has came and gone. But you can have either one of these guys because Jaden Reed's down for, I think, the next 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Christian Watson, my guy from last year, is still on IR. Damn it, one of these Green Bay Packers pass catchers it's got to show up to the party. And Romeo Doubs he's actually done that so far this year. So, yeah, so there's that. And then low key, man, like Wan'Dale Robinson, low key. Like that's low key. Like last year he was just, PPR, slot merchant. Looks like it's shaping up that way again. So yeah, so I like there's a lot like Amenor, Wan'Dale, Romeo. Those are guys that I like. Torrey Horton's on my Fans Classic team as well as Romeo Doubs as well. And so is Hunter Renfrow as well. So, I mean, have these guys didn't have a choice but to start them in a 14-team PPR bloodbath of a league, that is. They didn't have a choice but to start them. So, yeah, like yes, it's so far so good, man. We'll see how the night ends. But, like, this is a really good list. This is a really solid wave of wide receivers. And, like, maybe you don't need them to start right now, but anybody that's on this list, like, you need to go grab. And I'll say one more thing. Troy Franklin right now, pretty sure for him.
Man.
Leading the Broncos in targets right now. So obviously that's a big deal, right? We didn't have that in the scorecard. I think it's just a Sean Payton offense, man. The ball is being spread around to every single person on the roster. But Troy Franklin, obviously, he's got that rapport with Bo Nix, as they both were teammates back in Oregon. So yeah, man, like, oh, here we go. Somebody just popped up. Steph. Let's see what we got here. If Josh Downs is available, would you pry over him over the list of wide receivers that you shared?
That's interesting. That would be another person in this list. Very interesting. We didn't see the first question, Steph, so you got to post that one again because I think she said something.
Also, I don't think it showed up. I think she's just saying also, just kind of like, just also. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Josh Downs is priority. Josh Downs is someone that was like probably you were getting like, someone cheap. So as far as priority, yeah, he'd be someone I prioritize. Because I think Daniel Jones can still manage this offense and he can still have better days in terms of production. So I think when it comes to Josh Downs, he's someone I would prioritize because in terms of this Colts team right now, we're looking at, Daniel Jones is going to be one of those guys that, similar to Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Like he was, when he was a Giant, he was able to utilize Wan'Dale in the same type of role. And I think we're looking at the same thing as far as Josh Downs go and potentially at a higher ceiling at times. So if he's available, yeah, I'd take him and mix him around with this overall group of receivers because he's someone that if something happens to Pittman because he's been injury prone before, there'll be an opening for that too. But I will say like Downs probably wouldn't be number one because I love Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is a guy that, again, one of my deep sleeps that, when I saw Adam Thielen get traded, I was kind of like, dang, he's going back to Minnesota. But then I was like, ooh, this like opens the door for Hunter Renfrow. Like a guy that, if you haven't known, he was out the league a couple of years and, latched on to Carolina and pretty much replaces Thielen, just a younger version of him in a way. So I'd say Hunter Renfrow is one of the guys that I would want to definitely prioritize. Amenora, same thing. I think Wandale I want to see it one more week before I really want to clamor towards him. I have him in a few spots already, so I beat the breakout when it comes to that. But I'll say Hunter Renfrow is definitely someone that I want to prioritize because I think he can really be someone that could be sticky week in, week out. Troy Franklin is someone that again sticky, icky. Ooh,
it's sticky. That's all I created, baby. It's getting sticky.
But what I'll say about Troy Franklin is that I was bullish on him last year. I had him in a ton of best ball last year, and it just didn't pan out. He's going to be one of those guys that we'll talk about. Another guy that's a post-hype sleeper. But I think if this continues a trend, I mean, I'm not expecting Sutton to be, doing what he did this past week, where he was very underwhelming. And the same thing with Evan Ingram. I think better days are for both of them. But Troy Franklin, in a wide receiver Broncos Sean Payton room, we didn't know who was going to be really stepping up outside of the players I told you about. Troy Franklin should have made more sense in terms of we were on him last year when it comes to playing with his old college quarterback. We should have been on that a lot more. So there was that. But again, such a precarious situation when it comes to that room. But like I said, I mean, Hunter Renfrow is a guy I would want to have on more rosters. I do think week in and week out, I think he could do something. He won't score 2 touchdowns every week, but he'll be a guy that's going to provide you a solid floor and can have some decent ceiling because Carolina's defense is trash. So there's going to be opportunities for having better days in terms from a volume perspective.
I think the other thing too with Josh Downs, I was just checking just to see, just to make sure I wasn't giving you any bad info stuff, but there is literally nobody on this list that is playing less than Josh Downs. Everybody else has, a 70% snap share. I think maybe 68 was the lowest number I seen on this list, where Josh Downs, I think he's floating somewhere in the 50 range. And maybe that number could be skewed, obviously, from week 1 against the Dolphins, right? So I think obviously you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. But I think at the end of the day, with fantasy football, we know what the game is. The game is, you need to be on the field. If you're not on the field, you're not running routes. Can't make any plays. And I think Josh Downs is one of those guys that I think a lot of people were, preseason dart throw for sure. Right. But as I mentioned before, we're getting to a space where, I really feel strongly about this. After next week, it don't matter where you drafted the guy, and it doesn't matter about the preseason hype. It's about what they put on film, and obviously this could be an epic clip if Josh Downs goes out and becomes wide receiver 11. But I just think out of the names that are on this list, I think there's a couple of guys that I'm okay, I can see how you could get there, but Amenor, no. Even Wandale, I feel that's a no. Romeo's a no. Hunter Renfrow is probably a no for me. Troy Franklin, I think we can start splitting hairs, and the rest of those guys, I think you could make a case one way or another, but there's only 3 or 4 guys on this list that I feel it's a hard no on. The rest of the guys, if you feel that way, I wouldn't shame you about it for sure.
It's fair to put too. But yeah, I mean, Josh Downs definitely someone I would still prioritize for sure. And then back to Rob's question, what is it? Is Christian Watson coming back? I don't know if he's coming back this season. You know what I'm saying?
No, he'll be back this season, man. They paid him, and he, I think I seen something where he was he was working out or something in that space, trying to get back on the field. I think it's one of those post Thanksgiving, probably. If I had to be a betting man, that makes the most sense. And then when you talk about after Thanksgiving, you're talking about Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the only place that's more miserable in the wintertime than Green Bay, Wisconsin is Maine. So, I mean, especially a guy coming off of a knee injury as well. And I think one of the other things, hindsight being 2020, I was a big Christian Watson guy last year. I feel like he's just quitting Jammer 2.0 is what I feel in terms of just not being able to catch the ball. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'd say, I said, Thanksgiving. Maybe he's somebody you can stash on your roster, maybe for a potential playoff run. Maybe he gives you something later on in the season after Thanksgiving. But I feel that's probably when we can start talking about Christian Watson.
Makes sense. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. One of my league mates in here. One of my people from high school. Shout out Jobo. Yeah, only here to hear Nick's waiver wire grab, so I can outbid him for them. Feel free, my man. You
Knicks
really
or
won't know
Wicks?
my
I'm
strategy.
assuming he's talking about Wicks. I'm assuming Dontavian Wicks.
No, he's here to outbid me for
only here to hit
my grabs.
Yeah, okay. So it's nice to know, man. Like we have the same.
I know, right?
We have the same type of people because I'm pretty sure, man. There's my league mates are just here. Some of them are just here, just hanging out, just trying to hear what I'm gonna do, which is fine. I appreciate that.
Which is cool. I appreciate the love.
Yeah, for sure. That's all good, man. I love it.
But yeah, Jordan 2-0 in that league, bro. Yo, shout out to your homie right now. We doing work, yo. We doing work. We coming back from that championship. Like, tight ends.
Cool.
Tight ends. Yeah, it's not that pretty. It's not that pretty because of all the injuries and stuff. But here are the names that on the ticker we got. Someone that, again, another post-hype sleeper, Jatavion Sanders, a guy we loved last year. Unfortunately, he didn't see enough of the field. And then when he did see the field, he got a concussion. And that ended the season. So Sanders is a guy for me that I would like to prioritize in leagues where, I'm hurting at tight end. Because, again, speaking the same vein in Carolina, like, besides, Tedero, who else is going to step up as a secondary or third target in the offense? Like, it's kind of up for grabs. Leggett has been trash, by the way. I don't want people to drop him, but it's not looking good. It's not -2 yards so far. How do you post -2 yards?
Anyhow, catch the ball and run backwards.
It's just terrible. So that's what that is. So that's why I like Hunter Renfrow. But on the same vein, I like Jatavion Sanders if I'm hurting that tight end. Like a guy coming out of Texas, athletic freak. And the thing was that he was being utilized in the area of the fields where he can win, and that's literally the intermediate part of the field, short area routes. So 9 targets last week. So it's really good to see that. And I think this is hopefully is the start because the next couple of games for Jatavion Sanders for Carolina should bid for opportunities for them to have some decent shootout games. Like I said, the defense has been trash. We knew that coming in. So it's just going to provide opportunities to have potential shootouts. And Haywood is in the chat. Yo,
what up, Haywood? My dude. What up, bro?
Yo, friendly friend of the show over here. Just got off work. Better late than never. Do we all win some money this weekend and win most of your leagues? It's great to see y'all. As far as leagues go, it's a side note. We'll talk about that in a moment. But any tight ends here that you like? I think Barner deserves some attention.
No, because the only people that I hate more than tight ends right now are kickers. Those are the only people I hate more. Tucker Kraft is the only person that I will accept and I will love is because he won me a lot of money on Thursday night. But every other tight end, and I'll give Trey McBride and Juwan Johnson some love, but all the rest of them, no, could do without. No, I don't have any. Don't have any for sure. Ain't even waste my breath on it. Nope.
Ain't gonna waste my breath on it. He said.
No, like these 2 guys that are here, man. Like, right, like there's 3 guys on the list, right? And Jatavion Sanders is only playing like 64% of snaps. And then again, like the way things are set up for this offense, I don't think it's a long-term fix as far as pass catchers goes because Jalen Coker, I believe he's on the IR, and if I'm not mistaken, is it 4 to 5 weeks? I think for him. And if Hunter Renfrow keeps popping off the way that he is now, you got Tet, you got Hunter Renfrow, right? So, and then you have Jalen Coker coming back. So I'm just not sure if there is enough meat on the bone for Jatavion Sanders in that space. I think from a tight end side of thing, I think if you need a tight end now, you just missed the boat last week on Juwan Johnson, who nobody had, or Harold Fannin Jr. as well. So I think now, like we're just at a place like with tight end, maybe you go Tongs, maybe just because backups playing with backups, like there's some kind of chemistry there as far as like, scout team, training camp, et cetera, et cetera. So, if I like not naturally and normally would that be my take, because I do like Jatavion Sanders a lot. Like I like him a lot. But I just think like things got thrown off when they threw another pass catcher in the mix that has a solidified role and has like a specific skill set. I think it just kind of threw off the entire chemistry of what we would want from Jatavion Sanders and the Carolina Panthers. But Tongue's like, hey man, like Mac Jones is going to hit him for sure. He made Britton Strange a household name last season. I think Christian McCaffrey is obviously going to get a heavy workload because of the injuries that are there right now, like with the San Francisco 49ers. So ironically enough, I guess that would probably be the guy, I guess, for me that I would take out of this group, which makes me want to go to the toilet real quick and puke, but
yikes.
Could be worse.
I sure love the AJ Barner too. I think Elijah Royal is going to eventually pop up, but it's going to be more about like, I think for the now, like if he wants some production now, I think he's played a good, about majority of the snaps. I believe 75% of snaps for a Barner. Got to double check that, but he was someone that I was a little enamored with, but it was like a Royal landed there, and I was like, oh man, all right, well, I'll kind of back off. But 89% of the snaps. And he was a tight end 9 this past week. So, I mean, tight ends are always going to be weird every week. But I think if you got a guy that can lock into some value, score a touchdown, that's what we're kind of looking for. So I think Barner, if you're, like I said, in a desperate situation for tight ends, you can look there for sure. My tight end article drops tomorrow. So if you're looking for a few of those guys, definitely show some love to the Fan Tracks articles. I'll be showcasing that. So be on the lookout for that. And just for the record, I'm heading for 2-0 in the Fans Classic League. That's what's up, Rob. That's what's up. Hope to see you there for sure. Yeah, hope to see you in that final. Hope to see you drafting live next year. Before the game, so we'll talk about the first Monday night game that starts in a few minutes. I got a few bets for you guys there. Stroud over 32 pass attempts. We all know the Texans' offensive line is not great. We know the running, Nick Chubb and stuff like that, not going to be great. So I expect Stroud to go out there and beat this over 32 pass attempts tonight, and because they should be doing it in a way that is going to showcase where short intermediate games, quick fire, to not have so much pressure because the Bucs are going to look to blitz. We all know Todd Bowles loves to bring exotic blitzes, and that should lead to opportunities where Stroud's going to try to get the ball out very quickly. The other bet I have is Bucky Irving 3 catches or more. Buccaneers in the same vein. They still don't have Tristan Wirth. I still think they're going to try to find ways for Baker to get rid of the football quickly. Houston defense also a good defense, particularly in the past. So there should be some lanes where the Houston Texans get too aggressive. Bucky Irving should be able to catch a few passes underneath in terms of that goes. Haywood said he has a 2-legger that he wants to showcase, so I have no problem doing that. He said he has the over 35.5 alternate line and the Chargers money line. So that's the later game in terms of that goes. The other thing I would have for the later game is Hampton over 57.5 rushing yards. And that's where I do expect him to have a bounce back spot here. And I think the 57.5 rush yards is too low for the Raider game. So that was where I got a few of my bets going on tonight. Johnny, what you got?
I threw in a crazy one here before we kicked off, just for shits and giggles, but and I'll kind of walk through those. I feel like Vegas is begging you to take Tampa Bay as a 2.5+ dog on the road on DraftKings. So I just took Tampa Bay on the money line because I feel strongly about that. Tampa Bay's defense has been better than advertised. And we all know that I think last week the Texans used 4 different offensive line combinations at some point in time last week. So I feel really good about that. I have Baker Mayfield plus 25 yards. Don't worry, I got you, bro. I got you. I'll throw mine out there real quick. I got Baker Mayfield 25+ rushing yards. I think Nico Collins gets back on track tonight. I got him with 80 receiving yards. I think the game script is going to dictate for the Texans to be able to have to pass. So Darie
Ogunbowale.
15 plus receiving yards. Bucky Irving, 25 receiving yards, and Emeka Ibuka, 70 yards. So I got that. Again, like I threw it out there, man, because I put I claimed my stake in the DFS world. Is where I claim my stake. So I did that. So I'll rip off my lineup real quick for DFS.
Let's see who we got. Let's see who we got together.
So this is my DraftKings lineup. I got Justin Herbert.
Me too. Yep.
Omarion Hampton.
Yep.
Bucky Irving.
Yep.
Nico Collins.
Nope.
Emeka Ibuka.
Yep.
Lad McConkey.
Yep.
I have Dalton Schultz, and the reason why I have him is because I think we know that like the Texans cannot, like it's going to be a long night for CJ Stroud, and maybe his rushing prop might be a nice one to go after. And then Jacoby Myers, and then I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. This is a single entry, one bullet for DraftKings. I have that, and then I have one single entry on FanDuel as well. Figured I'd switch it up a little bit. I love that. Haywood. That makes me happy. Then I got Baker on FanDuel. I got Hampton on FanDuel, Irving on FanDuel, Ibaka on FanDuel, McConkey, Nico, Bowers, and then I got different. I took a flyer on Dante Thornton in the flex spot at 10 p.m.
That's fine.
Just because having Bowers at tight end, he's questionable.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Right. And if something needs to happen, then that now gives me the ability to be able to move off of Bowers to whoever it is at tight end for maybe it is Michael Mayer. Maybe I can move there, and then if I need to move there and throw Ashton Genty in, or even the Jacoby Myers, I can do that. So it just gives me a little bit of freedom and flexibility. So those are my two lineups I got going tonight.
Totally. We're on the Bucks together for sure in this game. I'm going to probably take the under, because I do think this could be a game where it's going to be a little bit more back and forth, like sluggish in terms of how we see it. As far as my DFS lineup goes, yeah, I mean, for DraftKings, we're really close. We're in agreement on Herbert, in agreement on Irving. I have Genty, Allen, Ibuka, Ladd, Tyler Conklin, Bowers. We have the Bucks defense together.
Okay.
Reason why I'm going to go with Conklin is because he's 2,900, and he's something that, all we need is a touchdown. I think he'll be able to still have a nice majority snap percentage. Him and Will Dissly is going to be close. But I like a Chargers onslaught here in a matchup, and then Genty finding a way to get involved regardless. And then I'm hoping people don't have Bowers, because or have an option to get him in this late swap, because I think he's going to play. I just think that if he doesn't, whatever. But yeah, Conklin could be sneaky. He's very under, 2,900. So it's like you need someone cheap to mix around everywhere else. But I do like a Chargers onslaught here. So I'm probably going to take them in the points in terms of, them, they just look really nice. Like the Chargers defense is really good. I know the Raiders have some things that, they looked good the week prior, but I think it's going to be a long night, I think, for Geno Smith.
Definitely.
Long night for Geno.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I like the Chargers in this space. I think the Chargers, obviously, right? The only thing I think you really have to be mindful of is a potential letdown game, right? Beating Kansas City, it's a big division game, obviously, for them. But I think also, too, one of the things to call out is the Chargers just in their play calling and Greg Roman. I think they had they threw it 66% last week. So I think that's a really good call out. So
crazy.
So on a slate like this right here, I think, right, it's when I look at it is it's all right, is it the quarterback or is it the pass catchers? And I think you can't go wrong in either scenario, right? I think there's two defined quarterbacks here in Baker and in Justin Herbert. I think obviously Geno Smith has the potential, but I think the only difference is for me in this space is that you touched on it. The Chargers defense is that good. that they can shut it down. And who knows, man? I think, is this an Ashton Jeanty week? Is this a time for him to get going? I don't know. I don't think this is the spot for him. I think obviously from a volume perspective, I think he'll get it. But I think, obviously Omarion Hampton and or Najee Harris tonight, one of those guys is definitely going to pop off for sure against the Raiders defense. So I agree with you on the under. Take the Chargers and the points because I just think they're just a much better football team right now at this point in time than the Raiders.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah, that went by fast, huh?
We did it, man.
That went by fast, huh?
We did it.
We definitely did. Haywood, since you're still here with us, you got any questions you got to ask for waiver wires?
He's just dropping gems, man. He's just dropping gems out here, man. Shout out Haywood, man. Like, much love, bro. Much love for sure.
Totally.
Out there on that West Coast time, baby. You know what I mean?
I know.
Jealous, man.
Me too. I'm definitely jealous.
Like literally the only reason why, like, not the only reason why, but like that's why I want to move to the West Coast is just so like, because tonight, man, I'm about to get cooked on Monday night because I'm gonna be up till probably 1 o'clock in the morning or until. If this DFS lineup is hitting, I'm not going to go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was pretty much my week last week and the week before that. So we're so back, man, so back. Yes.
So dang back for real. But Haywood, we got to get Haywood on the show at some point when his schedule aligns, whether it be for a Sunday or a Monday. So we'll have to get that together for you, Haywood. And yeah, we really appreciate you, and thanks for always showing the love, man. Really appreciate it.
100%.
With that being said, any fun thoughts for the people?
Sit back and enjoy doubleheader Monday Night Football, man. It's always like one of my favorite times for sure. It's always a great time for me, man. Just double games Monday night. Doesn't get much better than that, especially games kicking off at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. That's always awesome. 10 p.m. sucks. The only way it won't suck tonight is if I'm having a sweat going on. And if that's the case, then I will be super hyped. But good luck to everybody. I hope your Monday night miracles come through for you for sure.
Monday night miracles, that's right. What do you need? Monday night miracles. I'm already dead in the water.
Bro, in 22 leagues, in 22 leagues, I can't tell you what I need. I can't tell you what I need. So I've always lived by
junkie.
I've always lived by that theory. It's like, people are like, how do you play in these? I'm like, bro, like you play in that many leagues, like all you do is just sit back and watch football because you got enough players to, to cascade throughout the entire piece. The only things I focus on are my DFS lineups and my prop bets. The rest of it, man, it is what it is because football is going to happen and you got the right combination of players. Right or wrong, it's going to happen. So I'm cool with it.
That's real. Yeah, I mean, if anything, Mara Hampton going off would be great for my futures in a way. So hopefully that happens. And yes, he's in 22 season-long leagues. Haywood.
Yep, that's right.
The man is a jump. Nope, season-long leagues. No best ball.
Nope, no. If you want to count best, if you want to count best ball, now we're creeping into like the 60 territory now. So yeah. Hey,
Sydney, we appreciate you showing up and channel. Like, hey, drop a question if you still want to. We're still here. Yeah, damn is right.
Yeah. Can't help it, man. They say just say no to drugs. I say no to drugs, but yes to fantasy football leagues.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Too funny. Yes, a fantasy football league.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah. All right. Well, that's it, people. We will see you guys next time. We'll see us is live 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's 7:30 for Haywood out in the West. But yeah, look, appreciate everybody coming out. We love it. We love y'all. We'll see y'all on the next show. Peace.